Good morning, Smith Shoes. Kevin. Kween B2U. Good morning. Scott B. Good morning. How are we all doing this morning? Peggy Sue 11. Good morning. Cheryl Lynn. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking, Scott. Well, thank you, Smith Shoes. Oh, sorry you missed it too. Gayla. Maureen, me and the family are doing well. Thank you for asking. Monica. Sorry for squinting here and taking so long. Put my glasses on to probably help a lot more. I can read it so I don't have to sit there and go, what the hell does that say? Well, thank you, Scott. I do my best. I'm never going to be perfect, but Sherilyn, I love you and Tim. Always a good time. Well, thank you. That's about the only time that the two of us get to, see each other, but also just to relax. Miss Wee Lassie. Hey, Will. Everyone here. Scotland here. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. I'm human. I'm human, Scott. And obviously, I try my best. It's all I can really do. Duct Tape Bandit. Good morning. I need glasses too, but I cannot eat those glasses. So you've done without? Sorry to hear that. But my vision has gotten progressively worse over the years. I just got these ones. I went back in for another eye appointment. I go every 2 years. And glasses are actually the cheapest part of the entire thing. The exam runs about 115, somewhere in there. But the glasses, it's like $40. I mean, if you need just reader glasses, you can pick them up at any drugstore, Rite Aid, CVS. But if you need them, I understand when you have to make the decision between eating and seeing, it's hard. You go Monday for eye injection. I'm sorry, Scott. Good morning, Linda. Yeah, I remember. You coming on the stream last night, Linda. Didn't think I was going to make my morning stream. Wouldn't miss this. The very few Saturday morning streams that I miss, I've missed, in the 2 years that I've been doing this. Very few, but I look forward to these every Saturday. Get to chat with, friendly people and share my life, and everybody gets to, share theirs. As long as we're respectful to each other. Good morning, Mike. Allah Akbar. Chandra K. Amadul Nui. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the rest of that, Mike. Good morning, faithful one. The frames are 290, exam 190. I don't know, but the lenses. But just curious where you got your case that the flag is in. That was given to me. The flag was presented to me, and the case and everything. The same person gave it all to me. I think you can probably pick them up at just about. Well, I'm not sure, but I think you can probably pick them up at craft stores, or might be able to get them on Amazon. I mean, everything's for sale on Amazon, right? Diabetic macular degeneration. Wow, Scott, I'm really sorry about that. Do you read a lot, Scott? I'm talking about like books, authors. Because one of my favorite authors of all time has macular degeneration, and he's almost completely blind to this day. But with the help of his wife and with computer software, he's able to continue to work. And up until about a month ago, he was writing for a newspaper in New York. But he's written 6 books or something like that. Sometimes. No, if you ever want to pick up a good book, the author's name is I'm trying to remember if he uses his middle name or not. Well, look, just Google Jim Kniffel. Don't ask me how to spell that. It's like K-I Kniffel. I'll do it. All right, this is one of his books. It's on Amazon. By Jim Kniffel. His first book was Slackjaw. Then he wrote Quitting the Niobe Trio, and it's like I think 4 other books after that. You do a lot of online reading, Scott. He for the last all this time, as long as I can remember, he's been an writer for a independent newspaper out of New York, and he's gotten stories. You can Google his last name, Jim Kniffel. But he writes humorous stories, I guess is the best way to put it. But I'm sorry that you have macular degeneration. I think that's how you pronounce it. Duct tape bandit. You live in a small town. I have to look on Amazon. I need one for my grandpa's flag. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can find them on Amazon. Oh, I have Amazon pulled up. Let's see what they have. You can get one at Michael's for about $30. They are pretty expensive, though. They go from $30 all the way up to $114, depending on how ornate they are. Good morning, Caleb. Soccer mom of 1. Scott. I was just talking to you. Why am I saying? Good morning, Debbie. Your mom gets shot in both eyes, Gayla. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, thank you, Linda. Well, Linda says, well, when I say Linda, I'm speaking to not my verbiage. Her name is Linda. So, in case you guys are wondering, who the hell is he talking to? He says Linda. Who's Linda? Not my verbiage. Um, love you. Will, you're a great creator. 100% respect. Well, thank you very much, Linda. I respect the heck out of you as well. I love what you and the ladies are doing over on your channel. Text to speech, Monica. What do you think about the Florida massacre? I think there's more to it. I think they were all involved in drugs, and including the 3 victims. Well, Mike, according to Sheriff Grady at his press conference, there was no evidence of drugs found in either the victims' trucks or the guy who actually did the shooting, the killings. There was no evidence of drugs anywhere. Now, it doesn't mean that the guy who actually did the shooting, the killing, it's not that it doesn't. He didn't say anything about if he has a history of drug abuse or if he was on drugs at the time. There's got to be some motivation behind it, besides the fact that he said that it was over a motor from a truck that the one guy had possibly stolen from him years before. I don't believe that story. The sheriff doesn't believe it. And a lot of people in that small community where all this happened don't really believe it either. So, yeah, there's definitely got to be something more behind it. Besides, you would hope that there is, because you don't want to think that this guy was just a homicidal maniac out there running around and decided to take out his revenge on 3 friends who were trying to do nothing but go fishing. I don't know about that. If they were, I mean, I could talk about it, Mike. About drug deals gone bad, but I don't have anything that I can prove about that. Shelby, good morning. Heard that Kevin, who supposedly had ripped him off, was down fishing. Yeah, Monica, TJ was out on bail for beating up an elderly man with a crowbar and breaking his arm. He was out on bail on that, and then all this happened. But I'm sure that there's more to it than we all know. I mean, it's only in the beginning stages of it all. I mean, they caught him pretty quickly, though. And from what the Sheriff Grady was saying, there's been three murders in 11 years in Polk County that they haven't solved, and two. There are 2 homicides in all of Polk County, which is a vast area, that haven't been solved. They work quickly and they work diligently to solve cases. And he said in his press release that they could solve those 2 cases if the friends of the victim would just cooperate and speak to the police, but they don't want to, so those crimes will probably never get solved. Yeah, he definitely didn't look normal, did he, Gayla, in that Dollar General video? But what about the 230 felonies? I don't know if it was 230 felonies, but it was definitely, he had 230 charges, criminal charges that have been levied against him since the age of 12. His first arrest was at the age of 12, and then he's been arrested and convicted. That's what you need to focus on, is that part. What his actual conviction of was less than 20. I mean, when it comes to prosecuting attorneys, they'll throw the entire book at you. They'll throw a bunch of misdemeanors and felonies, if you do something wrong, and they'll hope that you'll either plead guilty, and take a plea bargain, or and they might charge you with 8 things when you're actually really only guilty of 2. That's how it works. And obviously, he's been in trouble. I mean, his first arrest was at the age of 12. And he's been in and out of jail and prison his entire life. He's just somebody that somebody should have found a way a long time ago to lock up and never release. But he got away with it up until that point. My opinion is he seemed to be under the influence of meth. He wouldn't stop moving. Yeah. I don't know if he was on meth, but he was definitely on something, or it looked like he was under the influence of something. Yep. Cement shoes, you're absolutely right. He spent more of his life in jail than he has been free at this point. I think he's 29 years old. First arrest at 12, and from the age of 12 on to 29, in those 17 years, he spent most of it incarcerated or out on bail or bond, and waiting to go back to jail or prison. And for the assault on the elderly man that he beat up with a crowbar, that was going to send him back to prison minimum. He was looking at 5 years if they would have pleaded him down to the lowest part. If he was convicted of the lowest possible assault, he would have gotten 5 years. But he was looking at more likely 10 years on that of his prior convictions. So he had nothing to lose. And that's the way a lot of these people who are like that have. They have that mindset. They have nothing to lose, so you might as well just go ahead and do it. Gloves are off, I guess we could say, and they just do whatever the hell they want. They don't really care about you or me or anybody else in society out here just trying to live our lives. They don't care about that law enforcement officer who pulls them over for a seatbelt violation. They got a gun, they're going to use it. They don't care. They have zero, care about anybody out there or what anybody else might be going through or what they have. They have little children at home. They don't care. I mean, he could have killed just Kevin. All right, if he really had a beef with Kevin, he could have killed Kevin. He didn't have to, assassinate 3 guys because he was mad about one thing that happened years ago, supposedly over a truck motor. I don't buy that story, because he had been out of prison, then he committed a misdemeanor, and then he assaulted the elderly man, was arrested, booked on that, bailed out, and then this happened. Don't think Karen, if they're able to prove even half of accessory to murder or something along that line, he's never getting out. I think they finally, and that there's enough media attention on the fact that he's been slapped on the wrist so many times, and it's been a revolving door for him in and out of jail. I think it's been very hard for a judge to to give him a slap on the wrist and send him back to his family out there in the woods off the grid. Unfortunately, he is a complete waste of life. You are correct, Soccer Mom of One, and good morning. If I didn't say good morning to you already. I hope I didn't miss anybody while I was jabbering away. looks way older than his age. Crime has not been kind to his looks. I might have gotten a detention in junior high, maybe a writing assignment. I'm a hardcore type. I once had to do Saturday school. Me and my friends got caught skipping school, and they gave me Saturday school. I had to go to Saturday school once. That was my senior year. I had to go to Saturday school. I think there were like 4 of us there on a Saturday afternoon. And they made you do homework. Otherwise, you had to just sit there and stare at the wall. Didn't have any homework, so I had to stare at the wall. Whoa. And now we got to draw a line there, Cement Shoes. Overdue library book? You rebel. I was way too afraid of my dad to get into any kind of trouble. Yeah. I didn't have to worry about that. Well, my dad passed away when I was 10 years old. Died of complications to diabetes. He was insulin dependent diabetic. From my birth until I was 10 years old. Diabetes is, and it's not something to fuck around with. I'm sorry for my language, but it's not. It's not something to mess around with. Heart goes out to anybody, that has to deal with it. Penny Dodge, good morning. I'm sorry I missed you. Kevin? I don't think so. And then again, I don't really care if he has COVID or not. Scott B said he has a macular degeneration of his eyes from diabetes. I feel sorry for him that he has to go through that. I couldn't imagine. I mean, my eyesight's getting bad the way it is, but at least I have that. I occasionally suffer from migraines, so something, and this is scary as hell because the first time it happened to me. There's nothing that will scare you quicker than this. I was actually at home the first time it happened, but I was just sitting in a chair, minding my own business, and then I lost all vision, closing into. I just had it looked like I was looking down 2 pipes, and I went completely blind for it lasts maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes in there. Nothing at all. No light, no nothing. And then as the migraine, goes away, I get my vision back. And it's happened 4 or 5 times, at least the last 10 years. So, but now I know how to take care of it. And I have we call it an oral digestive tablet that I have to take, as soon as I feel the symptoms of it coming on. You've been getting injections for 7 years now, Scott? I'm sorry. Heart goes out to you, Scott. Tunnel vision. Yeah. I don't think my father ever had anything that happened to his vision. But I mean, he definitely had a lot of other medical issues that were caused by the diabetes. And then eventually, it ended up taking his life. My grandmother used to call it the sugars. It wasn't diabetes. It was your daddy got the sugars. Never could understand that. Pam, good morning. It isn't that bad. You're used to it. Check for glaucoma ASAP. High pressure will cause migraines. Debbie Lee, what causes mine is head trauma. My doctors have known for years what causes my migraines. But I go to the doctor regularly and have my blood pressure checked and my insulin and everything else levels. It's all monitored, fairly regularly. You have migraines that are painless, Gayla? You're used to get migraines that are painless. My migraines start off with sensitivity to light and then sound. They pretty much come on at the same time, and that's when I take I take Maxalt MLT, which is an oral digestive tablet. You can chew it or put it on your tongue and just let it dissolve. But good morning, Red Rum. So what have you got planned for this weekend? Miss Wee Lassie? Well, me and Tim are going golfing today. And if we can't get a hold of our friends who apparently for some reason are not returning back either one of our texts so far, we don't know if they went to bed early or what. And most of my friends are 15, 20 years older than me. I don't have a lot of friends my age, at least not in this area. Most of the people who I grew up with and that I know who are my age have all moved out of this area because it's high. The cost of living here sucks where I live. It just keeps on going up and up and up and up. It's really hard for younger families just starting off, and it's really hard on those as to get older. As you get older, you can't afford a home around here anymore. But they've all moved off to other parts of the state or the U.S. And just like Tim lives all the way across the state from me. But most of my friends here locally where I live they're older than me, at least 15 years, 20 years older than me. My golf partner I golf with on Mondays, Jack, he is 93. Gives you an idea of what the age group of people and most of my friends who I golf with on the weekends are all retired. There's only like 3 of us that are still working out of a group of like 12 or 15 of us. Only 3 of us that are still working. Everybody else is retired. But they haven't responded back to our text messages. So if to get back to the actual answer to the question, if we don't get a hold of them, me and Tim are going golfing, but we're just going to be there an awfully long time today. We'll probably end up playing more than 18 holes, probably 27. Oh, we're doing it for pleasure today, Miss Wee Lassie. Painless migraines, Gayla? Yeah. Well, mine are not painless. The migraines, when I get the sensitivity to light and sound, it's not painless at all. It's like somebody just turning on a vice on my head and just crushing in on it. It hurts, and it hurts bad. And it's like the only thing I can do is take the medication, lay down, and not move. And sometimes or sit down. Because I've had it happen when I was at the store, and it's scary. Losing all vision, you're completely blind. If you're not anywhere near something to sit down, what are you supposed to do? If you're driving a car, what are you supposed to do? But I've had so many EEGs and CAT scans and MRIs. And there's nothing they can do to solve it, at least not yet. Karen, good morning. Yeah, still playing at 93. Yeah, Jack is going to keep on playing until he can't play anymore. Glad you have your eyes checked regularly. Glaucoma is silent vision thief. High pressure in the eye can cause more than glaucoma. Not the same as high blood pressure. Yeah, Deb. I don't know. I'm one of these people that I'll ignore health issues until I can't ignore them anymore. But not so much with my wife. She finds out that there's something going on with me. She'll drag me kicking and screaming to the doctor. She's like, you ain't dying on me, you SOB. Meant to say hi to Tim. Boom. Hashtag boom and hashtag Q. Okay. Now, hi, Pam. Welcome to the stream. You don't get them anymore, Gayla? That's good. I used to. I used to get them all the time. I'd use in a month, maybe four times a month. I'd get the migraines. Now, I didn't get the complete vision loss. That was a symptom that came on later on. But I don't get them as much anymore, but I still do, occasionally. To the point where I don't go anywhere without the medication. They have I could take, instead of taking oral adjustment, they do have a monthly regimen of medications made by Maxalt that I could take. It's like a low dose to preventative, but I'm like, I already take enough stuff anyways. I don't want to take something else just to fight off something that's only going to come 4 or 5 times a month. Colleen, the migraines I got as a kid were painful outright. They went away when I moved out. So is it more environmental, Colleen? Were your migraines caused by environmental issues, or? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay, you get migraines that make you puke. I've never gotten violently ill from the migraines. I mean, then again, maybe it's because I got used to it to the point where it's like I knew when they were coming on. It's just like, okay, stop what you're doing now. Certain things were triggers that things that tend to bring the migraines on more. So I learned to avoid eating certain things and drinking certain things. Stress. Gayla, I suspect mine were stress related from my work because I don't have high blood pressure or diabetes. I've always been right along the borderline, diabetic, but I've never been far enough to the point where I need to control it. Although I do take in too much of everything that I'm supposed to avoid, but I've never been. The doctor has never said, well, you know what, you're diabetic now. Borderline, I guess. Tracers. Oh yeah, definitely get tracers in vision. brine shrimp, like, it's, I guess what people call it, and streaks of light. Yeah. Since when I get the sensitivity of light, it's usually right about the time where I'm like, okay, that's it, I'm done, and just stop whatever I'm doing. Because when I get the sensitivity to the sound, it's like everything around me, environmental wise, someone has cranked the volume up in my head, like 50 times, and it's just deafening. Just hearing someone talk is it's the worst thing. Inner peace. Just say hi in the hospital with my mom, so I can't stay. If you're a praying person, please say a prayer for Mary. Oh, Mary, inner peace, I definitely will. I will definitely add you and your mother, Mary, to my prayers later tonight. Inner peace. I'm writing it down right now. I'm terrible at this. As age comes along, my memory is not as great as it used to be. I find if I write things down, and I keep this notebook or another notebook with me at all times. Even when I'm on the golf course, I have one of those little pocket-sized notebooks that I keep in my pocket. Write down. I write down everything. Ideas for videos, story. Cases I want to cover. I call them my stories, but cases that I want to cover, things I want to look up and research about a case. Used to keep the notebook originally, for when I'm golfing. This is the club I played on this hole and at this yardage away, and the slope and stuff like that of the course, where I play. I used to do it for that, but then it got to the point where I'll fill out one of those little pocket notebooks with just notes that are random things that pop in my head. So I always have a notebook with me somewhere. But I hope your mother gets better in her peas. Nope, Karen. My head trauma was caused after I was in the service. I was attacked at a company Christmas party. The guy tried to kill me. He's still in prison to this day for what he did. For what he did to me, his son, and an elderly man, all in the same night. Turns out he was on PCP and something else, probably meth on top of it all. We had no idea. It's kind of a long story, but the short version of it is he attacked me, hit me with a metal pipe in the back of the head, and I was laid out between my buddy's truck and another car, and he jumped up and down on my head trying to kill me. And with my friend and his wife watching this entire thing, and just like, oh, what the hell? But he knew that was the only way he was ever going to get the jump on me, because he knows I would have kicked his little skinny runny ass. And that is part of this entire YouTube experience. But I've lived my life. I'm living, and I do the best I can. I still work. Well, not anymore. I mean, I do this YouTube thing full time now. But for years afterwards, I went through and I put my life back together. I did all these tattoos on my arm. I did them all myself one night with ink pens. There isn't a single tattoo on my body that I've had professionally done. I did it all. My wife came home. She thought that, because it's kind of weird. So I went to, this happened to me. My buddies, instead of taking me to the hospital, they just thought that I was in a fight. So they took me home and laid me out on the linoleum floor in the kitchen of my house. And it turns out later on, my wife took me to the hospital when she got home from work, and I had a blown out orbital socket. I had a subdermal hematoma, but they didn't know about the subdermal hematoma because the x-rays hadn't come back yet when I went to the hospital. So I left the hospital, went to my daughter's recital, and I think she was in first grade or maybe she might have been in kindergarten at the time because she was going to a Montessori school. So they don't really work the age. It's like, okay, this age, you're first grade, or this age, you're kindergarten. They let them progress it, at their own pace to at least the school she was going to, at the Montessori school. But I think she was either kindergarten or first grade. And so they start blowing up my cell phone. And I was like, well, I don't know what the hell. I'll call them afterwards. So I turned my phone off. And by the time we left, and before I could answer them back, when we got back to my house, the ambulance was waiting outside of my house. They took me to the hospital because the bleeding in my brain. Yeah. And then I'll give you a little bit more of it. So after he was done assaulting me, and we have no idea what it's all. I unfortunately I had to watch the entire thing over and over and over again in court, and first I saw it at the police department. They showed it to me after I got out of the hospital, and then I had to watch it over and over again in court before I got to do my victim's impact statement in court. But after he got done assaulting me, his girlfriend took him and was driving home. He was in the passenger seat. His son was crying or fussing or something in the back seat. He unbuckled his son and threw his son out of a car window doing like 30 miles an hour. And he wasn't done. He just grabbed his kid, threw him out the window of the car as they were driving down the street. Wasn't done with me then. He was done with me, and he was done with his son because she pulled over to go back and check on their kid. He got out of the car, started walking off, and went to an industrial park, and he was trying to break into some place. And some old man was at the top of this second story, like metal staircase. And the guy, saw him trying to break into the fence, was yelling at him, he was calling the cops or whatever. They exchanged words. And he went up and threw this elderly man down 2 flights of metal stairs, and went inside and tried to rob whatever there was in the office upstairs of this place. I don't know what he ended up stealing, but altogether, from the assault on me, throwing his kid out the window, the assault on the old man, he got 27 years. That was the plea agreement that they came up with. Thank you for the super chat, Mandy. Super sticker. Thank you very much. Our Dorel, do you pronounce it Dorel? I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I live a pretty normal life now. I mean, besides the migraines, and the other thing, I have some, but nothing that's going to stop me from living my life. I mean, it took me a couple of years to get back to normal, but I was able to put my life back together and learn to work around what slowed me down. And I worked all the way up until this stupid freaking COVID. And then when the contract for where I worked, sold off, and I could have transferred to another company, but I said, screw it. Don't feel like it right now. So until the world gets back to somewhat normal, I'm going to do this. And I'm a firm believer, in that, all this stuff happened to me. It's terrible, and I've been able to overcome it, but other people may not be able to. But for me, I've used it as a reason to become an advocate, to help other people, to volunteer within my community. The baby, no, well, he survived, but he has lifelong physical disabilities. It broke the kid's back, and because when he threw him out the window, he hit something. I can't remember what he hit. It might have been a parked car or something like that. But he was trying to kill his own son. He didn't care about me. He tried to kill me. And in court, I had to sit through the entire thing until he went all the way until the jury went to deliberate. Then he took the plea agreement. But we went through the entire thing, and then I got to make my victim impact statement, and he just laughed at me the entire time. Just sat there at the defense table, just laughing at me. And he laughed at it. He laughed at his girlfriend, and what he'd done to his son. He laughed at the old man. The old man survived. He broke an arm, and I believe he had to get some stitches or something from where the metal staircase thing hit him in the back of the head from tumbling down it. He got some stitches, but he survived. But he thought the whole thing was just a joke. And the judge kept on telling him to shut up, or he was going to remove him from the court for laughing at us. So then they finally ended up removing him and having him hit by closed circuit TV while they read the verdict. And you could see him just laughing the entire time, even though they turned off the volume. But I've made it all work for me in one way or another. I'm sorry, Gayla. I can tell you horror stories from my father-in-law, who worked at in parole. He was a parole officer in Oregon for high-risk reoffenders for close to 30 years. And these are people that they're getting paroled, and they're coming back out into society, and they know better than 90% chance that each and every one of them is going to reoffend violently or in the same manner that got them sent to prison in the first place. But they can't keep them indefinitely. So they serve their time, they get out on parole, and he's like, he had to watch these people. And some of the horror stories that he could tell people about the people he used to, he have to legally his hands are tied, and it's sitting back and waiting for the disaster to happen. And he did that for close to 30 years. Child killers, rapists, murderers, drug dealers, gang members, a lot, that people came from all walks of life, did some of the most disgusting, awful things in society, and he had to watch them walk the streets for the short period of time before they reoffended. Drug addicts, yeah. Oh, welcome to the channel membership, Mandy. Straight trauma. And my video is frozen. I'm sorry, K-Love. Yeah, Claudia, And welcome to the stream, Claudia. I don't remember if I said hello earlier, but in case I didn't, welcome to the stream. That's the way that children are in a lot of aspects. They are possessions and tools to be used against the other parent in divorce proceedings. People forget that these are children, and then it'll affect them down the road. The first migraine I had, I thought was a hangover. When I thought, I haven't had a doctor. Oh, sorry about that. Claudia Rebecca, hello from Detroit, Michigan. Welcome. Had a drink in 5 or 6 years. Can you post a direct link to the membership? Yep, 1 second. Hey, look, it says that I'm live right now. Who knew? Well, there you go. Your iPad doesn't have the subscription buttons, huh? Yeah, I don't know if that's an iPad thing. I think that's more YouTube, because certain features are offered on Android versus the iPad, whatever they call it. The different I'm not good at this part. But there are a lot of things that if you put an iPad next to an Android device and you look at YouTube, there's a lot of things that are not offered from my side, from the creator side. I can't get YouTube to stop screwing with my uploads. I do all my videos are done in 4K, and I don't play with the volume. And every time I do, before I ever shoot a video, 100% of every video, I do a volume check and a lighting check on everything before I start it. And then I upload in 4K. And then when they go to, what they call it, transfer it from one to another, buffer or whatever they call it, they change it from 4K to 1080p, or sometimes I get lucky and I get 2K. Welcome to the channel membership, Cement Shoes. Appreciate it. You worked for a prosecutor who handled child abuse and sex crimes. She switched areas of prosecution, and I assisted her. Learned a lot. That's cool. Did you work on the legal side? Are you like a legal aid, or were you a secretary? Or answer if you want. If you don't, you don't have to. Never feel that you have to. I had to go through Chrome for a join button on iPad for Mandy. Hooray, it worked. Yeah. More in TC. Hey guys, hey Will, peace and love from the UK. Thank you, Sam. I could never do that, Gayla. My heart goes out to anybody who, law clerk, okay, worked on RICO and drug cases. I could never do that. Just reading about the true crime stories of some of the things that have happened to children, I could never do that. I couldn't put myself in that position to be their advocate, or to, have to be in law enforcement, have to deal with a case like that. But remember, if we defund the police department, we can set up community-based policing with volunteers, and they'll deal with that instead. That's what they say. I read it online yesterday, so it's got to be true, right? You love that area? Good times? My sister worked as an assistant prosecuting attorney in Greeley, Colorado for a while, and then she left to work in law for corporate in companies. I don't know exactly what they call it, but she's in corporate law, I guess. Most of the cases that she dealt with for the 2 years that she was an assistant prosecuting attorney there were more domestic violence, drunk driving, DUI cases, drug possession, are all minor cases. It's a numbers thing. They just people came in and they just cranked them out. Most people take a plea anyways. They don't have the money or the means to fight, a case. And if but it was something that she didn't make a lot of money at, but it was part of, I think it was a deal that she had taken through the University of Colorado. I'm guessing though, but she had to do so much time working in the DA's office or and some kind of advocacy group for like 2 years after she got out of college. Sacramento County deputies already have mental squads. Social workers ride along and responding officers to crimes in progress. It's a good idea. In other areas where they don't have that, Gala, it's 100% on the officer to not only to be law keeper, but to be the mental health counselor, to everything else. They have to wear so many different hats while they're out there trying to keep society moving along. And people don't realize that. They just see the few bad cops out there, and they're like, all right, they're all scum, and it's wrong. And I for me and my perspective, and I have a lot of friends who are currently in law enforcement or retired, from law enforcement. It really hurts, to see the entire society judging them and their value based on a couple of bad apples. Well, no money, but very rewarding. Yeah, that's pretty much what my sister said for the 2 years that she had to work as an assistant prosecuting attorney. No money. I asked her if she ever thought about going into working on the defense side, doing like pro bono work. She laughed. She said she thought there's no money on the prosecution side. There's almost nothing on the other side of the table. It was hard. The victims would call and talk to her because she became a substitute parent. Child area is hard, but it needs good people plan to burn out. Yeah. Duct Tape Bandit says, it's like me hearing stories like yours, Will, where you were beaten. I base my feelings for humans on the bad people. I guess I shouldn't. Well, I base my feelings on people about um based on their merits. But just like Cement Shoe says, it is hard. You had a friend almost take an abuser as a client. She made him take a lie detector first, and he failed. Mm. Even a child abuser, they all get their day in court eventually. Just like Lori Vallow, and Chad Daybell, they'll get their day in court. Okay, I'm back. Somewhat. Sorry. It started buffering, so I paused it and muted it, hoping that it would the signal come back. I'm only at 2 bars right now. If you guys are seeing a delay here, that is on my end. Internet's coming and going. Unless they kill themselves or are killed in jail, Colleen, they very well could have. Today's the 25th, and as far as everything that I've read about Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, by now they both should be gone. The world should have ended, and yet here I am in the post-apocalyptic world. The world ended, and everybody forgot to tell me. I thought somebody would send me a message telling me that the world ended, but apparently it didn't, or it did, and nobody messaged me. See, Claudia, there are a lot of great people. I wish I could get the good people matched up with the victims or kids who were considering the criminal life. Reach them before they are totally criminalized. Yeah, there are people that are dealt a bad hand in this life. Talk to more people on YouTube than in real life. Cement Shoes. I need a haircut. I want to get a haircut so bad. My barber, they're like everybody's stand in line. They're only allowed to allow 3 people into the. They have 10 stations in the barber shop where I go get my hair cut. They're only allowed to have 3 people in there on top of the 3. Well, they have, of the 10 stations, only 5 of the stations are open. One's open after hours, and he only does shaves, straight edge, razor shaves, and a hot towel treatment. He does that after hours, but he doesn't do haircuts at all. But they're only allowing 3 people in at a time. So right now, because the state that I live in, they're restricting them down to that. But otherwise, they got a line out the door. And drove by there this morning when I went to go get my coffee, and there was probably 15 guys waiting in line, just standing there, waiting to get in, an hour before they opened. They'd been in business there in the same location since 1923. No, and I told Tim this the other night, and he's like, the same barbers? I'm like, no, Tim, not the same barbers. The location, the business itself has been in business that long. When I first started going there as a little kid, they used to have a shoe shining booth. Still there. The gentleman who used to shine shoes he's long since passed away. And then they had the hair the 10 different chairs, and they got a little putting green in there, and a memorial wall for those who served in the service. The Journey to Justice. Welcome. I'm back in Wisconsin. When you coming back to visit Will? I don't know. Journey to Justice. I was supposed to be there in June. I don't know. With all this stuff that's going on, with COVID and everything, it pretty much put an end to a lot of travel. There is no minor league baseball at all, which I would normally would travel to the United States every June, watching baseball games. I miss my sisters, greatly. My sister who lived in Wisconsin has since passed away. She passed away a couple of years ago. But I have another sister in Minnesota, and I have family, and we have the farm there in Wisconsin still. But I don't know. Probably next year, hopefully. I would love to say that I can do it for the holidays, but I got a pretty large extended family who come here, and the reason why we bought this giant ass house is so we could have one place for everybody to come to have the holidays in one place, one location, instead of them spread out in hotels, motels all over the area, and having to meet in one cramped area for to eat and stuff. But I hope you are doing well, Journey to Justice. Mandy, no one told Mandy either that the world was going to end or has ended. Yeah, I mean, Chad Daybell saw it. He got a vision of it. He spoke about it a lot, and Lori did as well on her podcast, that the world was ending, either July 20th or 23rd, and then some other people speculated that what he was talking about was it was going to start ending on the 23rd, and the total final apocalypse, and God coming back, Jesus coming back to, and I think Joseph Smith is supposed to walk the earth as well, along with him side by side in their vision, or his vision. And that was supposed to happen before the 25th, so the 24th would have been the answer, and now it's the 25th. And the world has, if it ended, nobody told me. I thought one of you would reach out and send me a message and say, hey, just remind you, tomorrow the world ends. Hope you got all your stuff, in line. But nobody did. Duct Tape Bandit got a haircut right down before shutdown in Oklahoma. The town I'm in has never really followed the guidelines, so everything is open here. Not here. No, we're actually sliding backwards. The governor here where I live is he's slowly stripping away everything that was able to open in some capacity. It's slowly changing the rules. It was, we got to the point where we're almost to second phase of reopening, but now we went backwards to 1.5, and then he rewrote all the guidelines at 1 and 1.5. So now we're actually in a lot of areas before 1. No. Laura Stevens, welcome. Good morning. It falls on the 25th. Love Will, live in northern Wisconsin. It's beautiful. Love the lakes. Oh, I love Wisconsin myself. Born and raised around the Prescott, Wisconsin area. This is just over from the Twin Cities, across the state line. Hastings, Hackensack, not Hackensack, but Hastings, Minnesota, area. Grew up around the Mississippi River, and the St. Croix. And then I've got family upstate Minnesota, all the way to the headwaters of the Mississippi, where, it's just a bubbling little creek, International Falls area. Got family all over up there, and in Hackensack, Minnesota, and all the way down, that'd be 94, Brainerd, St. Cloud, Bemidji, and then all over the Twin Cities area, from Cottage Grove, St. Louis Park. I got family all over that area. I got family that lives not too far from Linda. Not my verbiage. Not too far away. My father's actually buried not too far. It's closer to her. My father's actually buried in Minnesota, not too far from where Linda is. LOL, a sandwich and a nap. That sounds like fun. What's the deal with Chad wanting the press at his preliminary hearing? Oh, Claudia, Mr. Means, the attorney for Lori Vallow, has put forth that he wants the preliminary hearings and everything, no video or audio recordings of the preliminaries. I don't know if it's Chad who wants it as well. Probably does, but if the world ends, they don't have to record them, because they're not here, are they? They're in the afterlife, on the other side of the veil. The duct tape Ben, I live in a town that only has a Walmart, but it's just one way in and out. That's all they changed. Masks are mandatory now, I think. I don't know. Haven't been anywhere since Monday. Minnequauk, Wisconsin. If you guys want to watch a really good channel, it's really funny. It's on YouTube. You got to watch the Minute Talk Minute with Charlie Bren, the comedian, and Ya Betcha, which is another one. It's a friend of his who does another channel. But a lot of people get a really good kick out of Ya Betcha, because he does comedy skits on dialect and things that you would only find in Wisconsin and in Minnesota, wherein Charlie is always making fun of Minnesota and Wisconsin, poking fun at the dialect and everything else. But the Minute Talk Minute and You Betcha. I'll be relieved when Monday comes, in case Chad was right. Yeah, Lars. All right. I'm going to have to end this in about 15 minutes here. What do you suggest I watch to get the rundown on the Vallow case? You don't know anything about it? Duct Tape Bandit. Well, I mean, besides my channel, you can go to my channel and you can look at and watch all the videos on Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell and Tammy, and the entire events of it are underneath the playlist for Doomsday Mother. Otherwise, if you want factual information on the case from a legal perspective, Scott Reisch does a phenomenal job from the legal standpoint of it. Let's see who else is there that covered it really well. It's a good question. I watch a lot of Scott Reisch. I like his channel. Well, I know Cece over at Coffee with Cece has she's covered it. She does a great job as well, but she's instead of doing investigative journalism, she's mainly covering she'll do like 2 or 3 different highlights of different cases at the same time. Red Rum, are you still here? I'll check. I can't check to see if she's still here, but I don't see anything on Red Rum's. Miss Murder, where's my Red Rum? Yeah, she was here earlier, sweetheart. And hi, Miss Murder. Miss Murder or Miss Murder Australia. I just pulled up her channel. It doesn't look like she's covered the Vallow case all that much, if she has. She's done Gannon Souch, Heidi Bissard, Carly Claus, Savannah Spurlock. She's done some really good coverage of other cases, but oh, I'm sorry, Miss Murder, that I missed it. In Short Nice, I was meaning to say good morning to you as well. I'm really sorry for not saying good morning. I should just start talking and I forget to read the comment section. That's my bad. Scott is great at explaining the legal aspects, Karen. Yeah, he is. He does a very good job of that. I mean, that's his entire life is the legal side of it, and he does it. He when it comes to explaining the nuances of law, he does a great job of doing that. So he's not just like it's not legalese that he's speaking and telling you about the case. He breaks it down and tells people, explains the greater aspects of it. Yeah. Duct Tape Bandit is going. I'm going to go clean my turtle's tank and get my Googles and go deep diving into this case, the Vallow case. And although it sounds like they love the meth, just my opinion. Well, they're not on meth, but they're dumb as snot, anyways. Yeah, I know what you meant. Duct tape, Vallow. It's callow there, but I got it. You slept past your alarm this morning? I don't own an alarm clock. I have a problem with sometimes like internal clock inside my body. I wake up like that, same time every day. Me and Tim, we finished the live stream at 2:00 this morning. I was awake and just like this. Well, obviously before my shower, I was a little more skunkier, but I got up at exactly 5 a.m. So for 3 hours. Boom, woke up, went downstairs, turned the coffee pot on, got the paper off the front porch, and then I went and jumped in the shower and came in here and started looking up live stream. Yeah, information and stuff for the live stream, getting it ready. It's 2 a.m. I can't sleep. I would always say hi to you first. Normally I sleep at this time, but I'm glad I'm not. Yeah, it's really early in the morning down there in Australia. But I appreciate it, Miss Murder. I hope you are doing well. Linda Jorgensen, good morning. I know a lot of people, friends of the family back home in Wisconsin and Minnesota. A lot of Jorgensens back there. The mayor and the guy who owns the town bar, his last name is actually Jorgensen, from the city where I was born. Nice. I was off work for a week and developed the bad habits. This is all I'm doing. It's just YouTube now. Well, that and spending. I spend my mornings. Give you a little bit of a rundown. So my son wakes up usually every morning at about 7, and I spend about a half hour or so, giving him Sherbirds and hugging him and singing good morning song to him. And then when we finally get up, if I get up, if he gets up right away, otherwise he wants me to read him a book or something. I usually read him a book. Excuse me. And then we come downstairs and after then we have a little bit of period of time where I sit down and I have a cup of coffee. Then we work on his alphabet and his colors and hand-eye dexterity, maybe cutting out snowflakes or matching, sizes of different circles together. I have to be the homeschool teacher now, and there's no substitute, teacher is going to come in and do it for me. So we do that for a while, and then I jump on and I have my notebook, like this one here. It's full of scraps of paper and stuff, but for research, and I start researching, make phone calls, return emails while he's eating his breakfast, and then after that we go outside and we play and try to keep him outside and as active as possible. I don't want him inside in front of his tablet all day long, even though he'd prefer to do that. And I do this until my wife gets home, usually around noon, because she's working split shifts right now. Noon, 1 o'clock, and we have lunch, and then after lunch, if I have the opportunity and I'm done, I'll write everything out from my notes, and I put it into. I have a software program you can buy online. It's and there's free versions of it as well. But it's a teleprompter basically, and so there's a monitor right here that I'm actually on. It's actually a TV because monitors that are made are ridiculously expensive. But I have a smaller one above it that I actually put it on. So when I'm actually doing the videos, I'm looking up like this above the actual camera a lot. People have noticed that, but. Great age for homeschooling. I need a break. Will, I really enjoyed your old cold case video yesterday. DNA technology is such a help in solving crimes. Yeah, Gayla, and it's going to get more and more advanced. Right now, they can go by what is the family tree and genealogical information that is out there. And the Mormon Church, the LDS Church, they have not only the largest genealogical records out there, but they have one of the largest databases of genetic information out there. People have been voluntarily giving it up for years. So that's pretty much how my day. And I shoot a video in the afternoon, or I do it in the evening after my wife gets home and my son is off to sleep, and then I just repeat it, except for on Friday and Saturdays. It's the only 2 days where I don't have to do the same routine. Fridays is different. I don't make him work on his alphabet or numbers or letters or anything until on Fridays. It's kind of like his off day. I mean, he's only 4 years old, so he needs a break too. I'll let him play most of Friday. Try to get him to go to the park, but the governor here has decided that all parks are bad. Bad. No parks. But I tried hot chocolate, didn't work. I had insomnia for 3 weeks, and it sucks. Stress will do that to you, Miss Murder. Try yoga or meditation. For when you get insomnia, try yoga or meditation. I used to try warm milk. I actually take a medication for insomnia because I get insomnia too. I have a hard time sleeping. Like I said, we got done with the live stream last night at 5 o'clock. Without an alarm clock, I'm wide awake and ready to go. The video is so interesting. It's a wonder the police take resources to solve old cases. It's good they do. Yeah, short and nice. It's as technology advances, in every other aspect of our lives, technology is now being used and utilized in law enforcement to solve some of these cases. Like the Nita Louise case, the one I covered yesterday. After 52 years, and her family back in Maine thought that she was alive and well, and someone famous in Hollywood, and she changed her name. That's why they never heard from her after 1978, and they just assumed. I mean, 1968. They just assumed that she was doing well, and that she was embarrassed by their humble life back in Maine. And then they find out no, she was murdered and dumped in a bean field in California 50 years ago. And that case, nobody knew what her name was. She was listed as a Jane Doe, and I cannot believe or even start to express how many different people on web sleuths and other online gathering areas for people who are interested in true crime, and dive into these true crimes and trying to help solve them. That case has come up so many times. It's a famous case, especially there in Orange County, California, of who was Jane Doe. People were trying to solve just who she was, and there was a lot of misinformation that started off in the beginning of the case that sent a lot of people in the wrong direction, because the original ornithologist, the dentist who looked at the remains, said that the dental work that she had before she was murdered was sloppy and poorly done, and assumed that it was poorly done and it was shoddy because it was done in Mexico. So they always thought that she had to have a tie across the border. Well, thank you, Mario G. Yeah. JJ51. I have a little incense burner that I put Nag Champa in. I buy the sticks. I used to buy the cones, but I buy the stick now. And I just sit and relax. Do nothing. Just concentrate on my breathing in and out. Meditation. My sisters, her husband's brother got me into meditation shortly after I got out of the service to help me deal with anxiety, because I didn't want to take medication for it. VA wasn't going to freaking help. All they wanted to do was shove drugs down my throat and tell me to go away. Did the murderer do any time for the offenses or get away with it his whole life until he died of cancer? Short Knives, they didn't even know that he did it until after. He had been dead for almost 5 years. When they finally, the reverse DNA was able to pinpoint it back to him. Now, as far as he had almost no criminal history other than that. His DNA was found in the rape kit, and it was found on her actual clothing and on a piece of jewelry that she was wearing at the time. So they conclusively can tie him to this actual crime and murder itself. But he lived here in Washington State as a normal, well, somewhat normal individual. He was always, kind of like somebody on the outskirts of society. Never really wanted to meld into society or be part of anything. Married, I think, 2 times. Has 2 grown sons. And he had a couple brushes here and there with the law, mostly driving offenses. But other than that, no criminal history. But did I guess get away with it? Yeah, somewhat. At least we don't know of any other murders or rapes that he ever committed after that. His DNA doesn't match anything in CODIS. They've had his DNA all this time. They've been running against CODIS and everything all these years. And the NCIS's database, all of it. They've been running against it all. Nothing. It's never come back with a hit for anything ever. Because he was just a working average man after this happened. It apparently is something, whatever it was, they believe it was sexually motivated because of the rape of her. But when he moved on, to from the area, he just became a working stiff, paying his taxes. He bought a home, got divorced, lost that home, got remarried, bought another home and a small part of land, raised 2 boys, and then got cancer and died. Empty the mind and just breathe. Focus on nothing. Nothing at all, JJ51. Nothing at all. In and out. Okay, love me to me when I get into a deep meditation. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to take off a little bit early today. I'm sorry. My wife is making breakfast, and she wants me to come in and actually cook the bacon because she doesn't want to do it with my son because she's a little hyperactive, nutcase on the weekends. She doesn't like cooking anything like that on the stove with him around because he wants to play around and doesn't realize that he can get seriously hurt by grabbing the handles of the pan and stuff like that. So I got to go in and cook bacon and finish making breakfast for everybody. So I just wanted to tell everybody thank you again for it. Quickly, I want to read Gayla's. Joseph DeAngelo, the Golden State Killer, got away with 13 murders and over 50 rapes for over 40 years. Then in 2018, he got caught through DNA technology. Pardon Nano Laboratories, same company that helped the Orange County DA in this case that I just covered the other day, Gayla. Same company in that reverse DNA lookup, and it was the same companies that helped solve both those cases. But thank you again, everyone. Stay safe out there. And me and Tim might do a live tonight. It all depends. We're not sure yet. Depending on how wiped out we are or how much golf we end up doing. If we can't get a hold of anybody, we're just going to keep on golfing until it gets dark. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. And I hope you all have a safe and happy weekend if I don't get a chance to see you again. Bye-bye.